Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
Welcome to a special episode for Gear Wednesday with Bruce Hutchin, host of Whitetail Rendezvous, and Mr. Jack Butler, owner of Gumleaf USA. Gumleaf USA is the sole importer of the Gumleaf brands made in Great Britain. Jack, welcome to the show. And folks, Whitetail Rendezvous does receive some compensation from Gumleaf USA for producing this show. Jack, how did we meet?
Well, nice to meet you kind of video to video here, but we, I guess, first got introduced online here several weeks ago when I had decided to begin kind of putting our toe into the waters of the whitetail deer market and was looking for a podcast that would be appropriate for reaching out to that segment of the market. Up to this point, we've been primarily focusing our marketing effort strictly on the upland hunting market for the last several years and letting the brand grow organically. So at this point now, we've got a very well-respected and recognized brand here in the Gumleaf USA boots in that upland market. And so we're looking to now this fall begin introducing the boots to the whitetail deer hunting market. And so yours was one of a couple of podcasts that I chose to, very selectively enter this marketplace.
And folks, when Jack and I get together, I did get a pair of Gumleaf boots, and this is called the Royal Zip. And Jack's going to be talking more specifically. The thing I like best right off the bat, I didn't turkey hunt, so I haven't been in the field with these yet, but I have walked, around my house, around the block, and have worn them. And I love the vibrant sole, especially out west, where I will use these in the mountains when I'm going to go scouting. I'm starting to elk scout really soon, so I'm going to be wearing these in the mountains. And then I'll be heading out to the farm in July. I'll be wearing them there to do the trail camera thing and habitat improvement. So, I do have a pair, and Jack's going to talk more about it. What makes Gumleaf boots different than anything else in the market? Because there is competition out there.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of competition out there these days for rubber boots in the U.S. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, for us, most of that competition comes from across the Pacific. Our boots are handmade. Our factory is located in Europe. And so that's the real advantage I think we have, because a lot of the boots coming across the Pacific these days, they use a relatively low natural rubber content, whereas ours are like a very high rubber content. Many of the other brands coming in from across the Pacific, they mix in plastic and synthetic materials, and that evidences itself wherever you have flex points in a boot like this, either across the top of the boot or across the bottom of the Vibram sole there. Because of the plastic or synthetic materials they mix in, you can get cracking very quickly. I get calls frequently from both hunters and farmers and people who wear boots for hours and hours each day. And it's not unusual now for farmers to tell me that they have to replace their boots like every 3 to 6 months because of cracking. The high natural rubber content of the boot, Gumleaf USA boots, helps provide durability. So like the first pair that Gumleaf sent me over here over 5 years ago, I'm still wearing. And while the boots are more expensive because they're handmade, if you take a look at our list price today for a pair of our Royal Zips and divide that out over 5 years, I would have effectively been paying less than $70 a year for boots that are continuing to go strong, are still 100% waterproof, and most importantly, are incredibly comfortable. That's really what the Gumleaf brand was designed for, is, what Gumleaf in the UK calls all-day comfort, meaning you can wear these boots for 10, 12, 15 hours a day and your feet still feel comfortable. So, the key benefits we feel like we're bringing to the whitetail deer market are the high quality, because they are handmade in Europe using a high rubber content, which gives them durability. So the boots will last years. And the hardest thing to get across really in marketing terms is just the comfort level. But as soon as somebody puts a pair of our boots on and takes 2 steps, you see their eyes light up and it's like, wow, where have these boots been? Because they're almost like wearing your favorite pair of sneakers. They're just incredibly comfortable. And so, like I said, I've got guides in the upland market I have one guy down in North Carolina, Stephen Faust, who's a guide all across the United States. Just this fall, he put on 650 miles walking in his Gumleaf boots, and they're 3 years old. So, that's what we're bringing to market really, is the comfort, the durability, and the quality of a handmade European boot.
Whitetail Rendezvous and Strikeforce Energy have joined together. What have they joined together to do? Well, they joined together to help you kick the can. That's right. Strikeforce Energy is the fastest growing new energy drink on Amazon today. It's simple. All you do is rip, drip, and sip. That's it. No sugar, no crash, no calories. It gives you the ability to focus and stay in the stand, stay on the hunt all day long without carrying around a can. When I get a sample pack, simply go to strikeforceenergy.com, put in WR free, and you'll get a 4-count sample pack from Strikeforce Energy. One thing I know from the rubber boots that I've been wearing, since I started deer hunting, is one, comfort, and then the ability to not sweat or not freeze in the boots. How does Gumleaf address those topics?
Everybody differs in terms of their sensitivity and how their feet react. These are 100% waterproof boots, but Gumleaf looked at a number of different linings for the boots, and the linings that are most commonly used in the boots that we're importing here to the U.S. is neoprene. And that's partially because the neoprene does a really excellent job of wicking moisture away. And, even if your feet do sweat inside the boots, some people's feet sweat more than others, but with the neoprene, it's very easy to quickly wick away the moisture as opposed to, just a straight rubber boot, or, some boots are leather lined and they take a long time to dry out. So most of our boots are neoprene lined, but we do have a couple of models now that are just fabric lined. And all of our boots have neoprene across the bottom of the insole, and that's for comfort and durability.
Could you show us the neoprene lining with one of the pair of boots you got in front of you?
Yeah, this is the Royal Zip, and each pair comes across the Pacific with an airbag to protect its shape and everything, and each pair is wrapped up. But it's really hard to see probably in terms of the depth there, but I can tell you that the upper part of the boot, which is from here up, uses 4 millimeters of neoprene. And then across the bottom of the insole here, across the bottom of the boot, there's 5 millimeters of neoprene. And so actually the way the boots are constructed at our factory in Europe is that we start with essentially making a neoprene sock around your foot. And then we build the rubber boot around that neoprene sock. So the neoprene we're using in the boot is very similar to the depth or the thickness of neoprene that you would find, for example, in a wetsuit or something. So that provides great warmth during the cool to cold weather, which is when we recommend using or purchasing the neoprene lined boot. And then we have another boot, looks virtually no different in terms of the lining, but we have another boot that's just a fabric lining. And we recommend those for people who are hunting or in cool to warmer temperatures. So particularly in the South here, that's the fabric lined boots seem to be very popular.
If somebody says, hey, I want to find out more about these boots, how does somebody go about doing that?
Well, we do have some dealers around the country. The vast majority of our customers come from and purchase their boots directly online at our website, which is Gumleaf USA. That's GUMLEAF, GumleafUSA.com. They go to Gumleaf.com, that will bring them to the European site, which doesn't ship here to the United States because of shipping costs and duty and a variety of other logistical issues. So Gumleaf USA is the way that most people buy their boots directly online. And if they have questions, they can always just give us a call directly on our toll-free number, which is 844-GUMLEAF. That's 844-486-5323.
And folks, if you order off the website, use promo code WR2019, and you will get free shipping from Jack. So any place in the United States, you will get free shipping. How about if they order up to Alaska? That would be a little bit different.
Yeah, we've shipped boots up to Alaska, and we've not done anything. We normally will charge a flat rate of $20 per pair for shipping anywhere in the United States. In Canada, we normally charge $40 plus the buyer's responsibility for any duty for boots shipped into Canada. But for anybody up in Alaska, we don't differentiate Alaska from the lower 48.
Okay, folks. So use promo code WR 2019 when you buy your boots, and you're going to get free shipping. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So the best place to buy them, or the only place to buy them in North America, is right through GumleafUSA.com. And let's talk about the different styles that you offer.
Okay. Well, I guess one way to begin that discussion is to say that because of the high natural rubber content of our boots, their design is really functional. It's not fashion, so you won't find Gumleaf boots and polka dots and plaids and things like that. They basically come in, a couple different shades of green, which are going to be of primary interest to most of your whitetail deer hunters. The number one selling boot for us here in the United States is that pair of Royal Zips that you showed earlier. And the Royal Zips are, as you can see, is a tall rubber boot. Depending upon size, most of them are about 16 inches. They're Wellington style boots, as the Brits call them. So they're designed to be just below the knee. But I highly recommend that anybody interested in a pair go to the sizing chart that's on our webpage under customer service. And on there, we give you not only the boot height, but also, very importantly, the circumference around the calf here. Because, I'd say the only reason we really ever see returns from folks is because they get the boots and their calves are too big to fit comfortably into the boots. We have a solution for that, but on that sizing chart, it'll give them both conversion from European sizing to US sizing for either men or women. And it will also give them boot height as well as calf circumference. So our number one selling boot, though, as you mentioned, is the Royal Zip here. And there's just a couple of things I guess I would point out about it. They only come in this olive green color. And we utilize a YKK zipper. It's a heavy-duty nylon zipper. YKK is the number one zipper manufacturer in the world. So it's a very heavy-duty nylon zipper. On my 5-year-old pair of Royal Zips, which are downstairs, the zipper still sounds just like it does on this brand new pair that I just pulled out of a box here. So that's a key feature. One of the reasons, well, a couple reasons why I think the Royal Zip is our number one selling boot. It's one that we feature in our print advertisement, or have featured in our print advertisement before. It's also because the zipper goes from the very top of the boot all the way down here virtually to the ankle. It's an incredibly easy boot to get on and off your feet. So, if you're an older guy like I am, or, you have a tough time with tall rubber boots, these are just incredibly easy to slip on and slip off quickly. The other thing I really find, our offices are up here in upstate New York, and our temperatures range probably from the 90s during the summer down to well below freezing during the wintertime. But during the summer months, the thing I like about the zips is that I wear them and I just don't zipper them up. You can probably see here that there's a what's called a gusset inside of the zipper here. So that the gusset is basically a layer of rubber that's between the zipper and your leg. So even if you have the zippers down, your feet will still remain 100% dry because they're still waterproof. So during the summer months, I wear my Royal Zips and I just don't zipper them up. And that way you get a lot of air circulation all the way down to your ankle. And then during the winter months, I zipper it up. So this is our number one selling boot. All of our Royal Zips right now do have this Vibram sole, which, as you pointed out, Vibram's a very well respected and well known brand name. It features a deep tread on the bottom that kind of shakes off rubber but provides excellent traction in wet and muddy conditions. And Vibram came to Gumleaf several years ago when Gumleaf was making its own soles at that time. And they essentially have designed the soles for our boots that mimic the original design. The original design of Gumleaf boots had soft rubber air-filled chambers underneath the heel and in the forefoot of the boot here. And those are kind of the keys to the comfort, because while you have very hard rubber in the bottom of the Vibram sole here, in between your heel and the bottom of the boot, there's these soft air-filled rubber chambers. And so every time you take a step, you get a little bit of compression underneath the heel and the forefoot of the boot. And that's really the key to their comfort. So that's the advantages of our Royal Zip. As I said, it's our #1 selling boot. It is our most expensive boot, but the ease of getting them on and off, and depending upon where you live, the zipper feature allows them, to be worn very comfortably during the early spring season, for example, and into the summer. So if you're out, putting in food plots or something like that for hours during the months coming up here, it's a boot that you can still wear very comfortably.
Thanks for bringing that up, because a lot of my listeners are the 365 hunters, and right now they're in the fields doing habitat improvement and food plots.
Yeah.
And so it could be dry, it could be wet, it could be flat out muddy. So these boots are what I'm going to call in market and speak about are 365 boots. So no matter what you're doing, these boots are going to be with you. And the second thing, listeners, is that when you look at it as a 5-year boot, then the cost to own them is reduced significantly. Because I know I've had boots that have cracked and sent them back or had to buy a new pair of boots. And so I'm just really excited to get these and put them on in September and not take them off until December. So I'm going to have, 4 months of hunting, all different types of terrain. But, I look forward to doing my own testing, if you will. But, with the outdoor, I talked to Meadow Caulfield, who's my co-host, and she's in the field all the time. She was doing woodcock brood census up in Upper Michigan, and she had rubber boots on. And we talked about it. And, as an upland hunter and biologist in that area, it's important for anybody to have them. And if just for farm boots, they're great. Just for, whitetail hunters, they're great. And just for people that live in the Seattle area, live in wet weather, there's a lot of boot companies up there because people just wear boots. You go up to the inside pastures of Alaska, everybody has rubber boots on. There's no question. And so when you look all that, there's a lot of application for this boot. One thing I want to go back and just touch on again, for people with wide calves, I think it's the Viking Tech that you have. Is that
actually
correct?
We have, the biggest, after the Royal Zips, our biggest seller is this boot called the Viking. And the Viking itself has got its neoprene line, just like the Royal Zip is. But you can see here in the back, there's a vent that's made of rubber. It has a strap so you can tighten it up, but this vent expands. And depending upon the size of the boot, that provides it up to another 5 inches of space around the calf. So this is why we think it's really important for people who are interested in our boots. Check the sizing chart for your calf size or circumference. And then this is popular not only for, guys with bigger calves, guys or women, because all of our boots do come in women's sizes as well, or most of them do. And like in a men's 13, this allows up to a 21-inch calf. That's huge. I mean, we've got NFL football players wearing these things because of that. But if it's, a boot you're going to wear in cold weather while out hunting with hunting pants or something on, that's another reason why, you may want additional room for tucking in pants here. So the Viking itself is neoprene lined. There is a new style of that called the Viking Techs, TEK, and they're so new I don't even have them up on our website yet. I just brought in my some initial pairs to test in the U.S. market here a short time ago, and those are fabric lined boots, so more appropriate again for cool to warmer weather, while the neoprene lined boots are best for cool to cold weather conditions.
You mentioned about the sizes. Now, they're European sizes, so let's talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, yeah. the boots are handmade in Europe, so naturally, as you just said, they're European sized, and then we make conversions to U.S. men and U.S. women's size from that. And essentially, they're available from an EU or European 37, which is like a U.S. woman's size 7, right up to an EU 47, which is up to a U.S. men's 13. And as the Brits say, they're sized generously, meaning particularly in men's sizes, they run true to size, but they have a little extra space in the event you want to wear extra socks with them when it gets particularly cold. I haven't found the need to do that. My Royal Zips I've worn down to 10 degrees below with just men's cotton dress socks on. But because they're handmade in Europe, they are very generously sized, or they're generously sized, and they tend to fall in whole sizes. So in men's sizes, for example, they're available in 9s, 10s, 11s. There is an 11.5, but we don't sell that many of them just because everybody tends to fall into whole sizes. So we have them from up to a size 13, and in the women's down to a U.S. woman size 7.
And again, the widths.
The width is standard in the boots. When Gumleaf made its own sole for the boots, they were sized to like a triple E width. But in most of our inventory now in the U.S., we've converted over to Vibram soles. There are still some for different sizes and different styles. There still are some that are the traditional Gumleaf sole, but for the most part, they're all Vibram now. And the Vibram sole has a slightly narrower profile, and therefore it probably cuts the width of the boot a little bit from a triple E down to like an E or a double E width.
Become a smarter whitetail deer hunter. Find out when to hunt, where to hunt, how to hunt. How? By joining Deer Hunting Institute. After 4 years, I'm happy to announce the founders membership of Deer Hunting Institute. It's going to be July 9th, 2019 at 9 a.m. It's going to run for a couple of days. During that time, you're going to be able to sign up and become a founding member of Deer Hunting Institute. Deer Hunting Institute will consist of a 13-module course that I've written, and you've seen some of that information on social media. It's also going to be a membership course. Starting in August, I'm going to have a soft launch, and the hard launch to that membership course is going to be in January. Let's talk about the Deer Hunting Institute course. I have 13 modules talking about stand sites, how to find a place to hunt, scouting hunting location, reading sign, how to hunt during the rut, when to hunt, where to hunt. And in the membership, we're going to have expert interviews. We're going to have Q&A sessions. We're going to have how-to sessions. Every single week for a member, you're going to get this information. So all in all, on July 9th, you're going to have the opportunity to become a founding member. Founding member is simple. You pay a flat fee of $299 and you're a member of Deer Hunting Institute forever, period. You get the free course and free access to the membership. Wherever that goes, you'll have that ability. So I just want to say I'm so pleased that after 4 years of talking to hundreds of whitetail hunters, I've condensed it all and I'm launching this course on September 9th, 2019 at 9 a.m. You know, one thing that I'm concerned about and every single whitetail hunter is concerned about is being scent free. You know, we have lotions and we have shampoos and we have carbon in our fabric. And so we're really concerned about that. What's the secret about your boots being scent free?
Well, natural rubber tends to be more scent neutral than most other materials that you're going to find any boots made of, particularly leather. So, I think there is a place for leather boots. If you're in conditions that are well known and dry, then, a leather boot certainly, can work for you. But if you're going to be out in unknown terrain and, where scent is a concern, then nothing really, I think, can be as useful as a rubber boot. So, regardless of what kind of terrain you come across and temperature spreads, etc., a tall rubber boot like this is going to be probably the best in terms of remaining scent free.
Yeah, I like how you said scent neutral. That's something you don't hear about a lot. And, I liked how you brought that into the conversation because, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, the scent just doesn't attach itself to the rubber. Therefore, you can't smell any of the odor except possibly just the rubber odor. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's less smell to rubber. It's more scent neutral than leather is going to be. Leather, and I don't think we'd have to explain to anybody, when you smell a leather jacket or a leather pair of boots, you recognize that as leather. But, rubber, you can't really smell a rubber boot like this. Plus, there's, it's interesting if you really look into the literature and look at studies that have been done. I think I've seen studies that really question whether or not anything can be scent free. Most things in nature can pick up a scent, so you want to minimize the scent as much as possible. And I think it's pretty well established that rubber carries less of a scent than something like a leather boot will. So again, there's places for leather boots where you don't need a tall rubber boot, but in terms of minimizing scent, rubber certainly has less of a smell to it than leather would.
Yeah, in this guy's opinion, if you're deer hunting, you should have rubber boots on.
Yeah, for a number of different reasons. I feel up here in our offices are in upstate New York, and there's lots of deer hunting up here, Pennsylvania, Michigan, various parts of the Northeast in particular. And so, the type of terrain you're going to run across, either while you're out putting in food plots or if you're out sighting, trail cams, or, if you're chasing down a deer after you've shot it during bow season or whatever, you can, as I'm sure your listeners know, that can lead you almost anywhere. I live surrounded by a park here where there's hundreds, if not thousands of deer. And while there's no hunting in the park, occasionally you do see hunters who end up having to follow a deer that they've already shot into the park, and they end up in swamps or ponds or everything else to retrieve their deer. So, it's those types of conditions that, we think that the rubber boot is really ideal for.
One thing whitetail hunters want is all-day comfort. How do Gumleaf boots fit that bill?
Well, it's primarily, again, a feature, I would say, of the way that the soles of the boots have been designed with those soft rubber air-filled chambers underneath the heel and forefoot of the boot. That provides not only a layer of cushioning, but I also think that particularly in cold weather, those air-filled chambers act kind of like a thermal pane window, uses air on one side or air in the middle to keep the cold on one side and the heat on the other. So I find, for example, during the wintertime, my wife wears our boots, obviously, as well. And, we're out walking our dogs. We're sometimes knee deep in snow. We heat with wood pretty much from November until March. So we're constantly out, picking up wood or stacking it and splitting it and things like that. And so we spend a lot of time outdoors during the winter months and into the fall and out into the spring. And, it's great to have a pair of boots that are always going to be comfortable on your feet, regardless of the types of weather conditions you're encountering and what the temperature range may be that you're going to be wearing them in.
Tell the people once more time how to find you on social media or your website.
Well, our website, again, is GumleafUSA.com. And on Facebook, we've been fairly active in Facebook for the last several years. And there's a lot of photographs that have been sent in from folks who have bought one or two pairs of our boots or three pairs of our boots, if they've got camps and things like that. So I would highly encourage folks to check out our website or our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Gumleaf, Gumleaf. And you'll see a lot of photographs that, particularly from the upland market, but a lot of photographs that folks have contributed over the years here, showing how they're using their boots and commenting.
You're also on Instagram.
Yeah, we are. We've gotten more active on Instagram recently as a means for both promoting our boots, but also just watching as more and more purchasers are posting pictures of themselves in our boots and commenting. So, it's not unusual now. Our market has spread quite a bit from just the upland market. As I said, we're using this as an entree into the deer hunting market, but we have a number of equestrians who have bought them. There's foresters, people who are active in boating and camping and anywhere that, you may encounter water conditions. We're a very popular boot because of the comfort, but people are just out hiking. And, we deal with landscapers and highway workers, and anybody who really spends a lot of hours on their feet are going to find that these are the most comfortable boots that they've ever worn.
Thanks for that. Now, one thing that I know you said that if somebody is not tolerant to rubber, natural latex rubber content, how do they know that so they don't buy a pair of boots and then have a reaction?
Well, most people would know, hopefully, before they pick up a pair of boots. I've actually only encountered, in the 5 years that we've been selling them here in the U.S., I've actually only encountered one buyer who contacted me like a couple of weeks after he had bought them and worn them for the first time. And he said his leg was starting to break out in like hives or turn red. And I said, well, do you have a latex allergy? And he said, well, I don't know. And it's like, well, you do, But normally most people who have a latex allergy know that they're allergic. And, that can occur because of the high rubber content. It's a natural latex rubber that's used in making these boots. So most people who have a latex allergy will be aware of it, hopefully before they buy a pair of our boots. But we have a very liberal exchange or return policy, particularly since most of our business is done online these days. Sometimes the fit isn't exactly perfect, or somebody picks up a pair of the boots and then they decide that they actually do want a wider calf or something. So we don't get an awful lot of boots back for exchange, but if somebody, certainly finds out after they've, gotten a pair that, they do in fact have some sort of latex allergy, we certainly would accept the return of the boots. We just ask people not to wear the boots outside before they make the keep versus exchange or return decision. And, they can always send them back if that's the case.
And one thing you mentioned about OSHA requirements, no steel shank or toe.
Yeah, these don't. Our boots are really for outdoor enthusiasts and hunters. They haven't really been designed as a work boot per se, so they don't have a steel cap in the toe, and there's not a steel shank that runs all the way across here. So, in certain areas, like at one point when I first started importing the boots, I thought, well, microbrews might be a great place, because most people that work in breweries and everything, will wear tall rubber boots. But so I was targeting, some of the microbrews, but OSHA does regulate, I think, because of, they're carrying kegs and things like that, they wear steel-toed boots. So just something somebody should be aware of. It's not a safety boot. If you need safety boots, you probably want to find another brand. But if you want a tall, very comfortable, extremely durable, well-made pair of boots, and I think Gumleaf gives you a good choice in a variety of different styles.
One thing I really like, and it's just a feature, that you have that felt patch around the heel to help break in the boot. Why don't you tell all the people about that?
Yeah. Well, there's a number of features. When we do shows sometimes, I have a couple pairs of boots that I've taken a bandsaw to and cut right down the middle of the boot so you can actually see the quality on the inside and the air-filled rubber chambers and everything. But in the bottom corner of the boot here, in this area, Gumleaf sews a felt patch all the way around the heel. That felt patch is to help with comfort, certainly, but it also helps as you break in the boots so that, felt's a relatively soft material. And it's not intended to last for the life of the boot, but it helps as you break in the boots and make sure that, if the fit's right, that, it's an anti-blistering step that, we filled in. But, it works particularly well. I have some people who wear down the felt faster than others, but again, it's not intended to last, 5 or 10 years. It's there as a function to just help during the break-in period.
So let's go back to the beginning of the show, and we talked about a number of things about Gumleaf boots. We started off with comfort, durability, and quality. So let's recap those right now, Jack.
Okay. Well, again, I'd say those are, the key benefits that we bring to the market. It's the quality of the boots because they come across the Atlantic rather than across the Pacific. The high rubber content of the boots ensures that they're not only 100% waterproof, but that they're going to last for years. And so the durability of the boots, as you mentioned earlier, my 5-year-old pair are going strong. I strongly suspect that they'll see 10 years or 15 years just because the rubber content is such. Our boots are tested at the factory. They've been tested to over 1 million flexes like this without cracking. Each pair is also pressure tested at the factory to ensure against any leakage around where the upper meets the lower here. So it's just things like that we do at the factory, sewing felt into the heel pad, etc., that just make them an extremely well-made pair of boots as you would expect from a European boot, and will give the boots great durability. And the comfort factor is, I'd say, again, second to none. I've worn a number of other styles of rubber boots on one foot and a pair of Gumleaf boots on the other. And, in my biased opinion, it's like day and night. I will tell you a funny story, though. At one point early on, when we were first bringing the boots over into the U.S., we were doing a number of equestrian shows, and there was a young lady who tried our boots on for the first time. And we were on concrete floors in this convention hall down in Pennsylvania. And she and I were talking, and the whole time that we're talking, she keeps going like this, which he could probably hard to see on the camera, but she was just bouncing from one heel to the other heel to the other heel. She did that for an hour. And I said to her, do you realize, that you've been bouncing for this whole hour that we've been talking? And we both just kind of laughed about it, but you can really feel this, the way the soles have been designed so that, they're incredibly comfortable. I compared them to a pair of sneakers before, but that's the kind of comfort you can expect from these boots. And that comfort doesn't go away. It doesn't wear out. It's built in. It's, part of the design of the soles of the boot. So comfort, durability, and the quality of a European handmade boot. That's really what we're bringing to market here.
So, folks, if you're ready to go, Jack, where do they have to go to pick up a pair of your boots?
Well, the easiest thing to do is just go to our website, www.gumleafusa. That's Gum, as in Mary, Leaf. Gumleafusa.com. You can see the various styles there. You should definitely check out the size chart under customer service. Just make sure that the boot height is going to be below your knee, and to also check out the calf circumference. If you end up having, calves that are wider than, for example, some of our field boot or our Saxon boot or something like that, then, you'll want to consider the Viking boot, which is a very popular boot for men and women with wider calves. We ship everything here in the United States, and mostly the boots we ship into Canada as well via United States Postal Service, 2 to 3 day priority. So, today's being the day after Memorial Day. If somebody ordered a pair of boots today, they'd have them by the end of the week typically. The other thing I would say is because they are a handmade boot, our supplies here in the United States are relatively limited. It takes a long time. I have an order coming in now that I placed months ago in preparation for this fall's deer hunting season, but it takes a while. So, for the factory to make the number of boots here, as you can imagine, that, we're looking to bring into the U.S. market. So just want to forewarn people that because of the handmade quality of these things, we don't have millions of them here. They come in large shipments, but we're trying to slowly introduce them to different components of the market to avoid back order situations.
So how many pairs do you think you'll have coming in between now and September 1st?
Oh, it's fewer than 1,000.
Okay. So, yeah. Folks, if you're interested in it, to go to gumleafusa.com, use promo code WR2019. You get free shipping any place in the United States, including Alaska. And then if you wanted to make sure, the sooner you order, the sooner you get on the list and the sooner they'll be shipped out. And Jack will communicate with you, hey, your order will be filled as soon as the next shipment gets here. Now, Jack, you said you get a shipment now. So this is let's call it June, then when's the next shipment expected?
The next shipment is expected to arrive probably pretty close to the opening of deer hunting season up here. So it'll be, mid-fall anyway before my next shipment will come in.
So if you're an archery hunter, then it's going to be October, November sort of time frame. So
Right.
If you're an archery hunter, you need to order them now to make sure you get them. Gun hunter, the same thing. And then as the year goes on, based on the orders, then Jack will be able to order more because he really want to not get into the back order situation.
Yeah.
If somebody does order something, pays for it, and it gets back ordered, do you refund their money?
They can't place an order if we're out of stock.
Okay.
We don't accept orders online unless we still have inventory of a particular style and size. So, they can email us at info@Gumleaf USA and just let us know what size and style. And the other thing I would say is that if you have any questions when you're ordering the boots or before you order, or even afterwards, if you have any questions, just call us at our toll-free number, 844-486-5323. Be happy to answer any questions you have about the design, the fit, the intended use, really anything. We sell Gumleaf USA boots in a variety of different settings, and I'm accustomed to getting hit with lots of different questions about our boots, but happy to help answer any questions before you order your first pair.
And one thing I'd ask, when you do order your boots and you put them on, when you're opening the box, take a picture, send it to whitetailrendezvous@gmail.com and send it to Jack. What's your email address, Jack?
Best one to use again is info@gumleafusa.com.
So when you're opening the box of your Gumleaf boots, just snap a selfie with you and your boots and send it to me. And I'm going to use that for promotional because Jack has selected Whitetail Rendezvous as one of his outlets to get the word out to the whitetail world. And I really appreciate that very much, Jack, that you've selected us to help you launch your product here in North America. One more thing, and a lot of people talk about being green, and how green is Gumleaf? I was going to say Greenleaf.
Yeah. No, well, our factory is rather unique in terms of that. It's no petrochemicals are used. It's a steam run factory. There's no PVC, that's used in the construction of our boots. The factory operates under what's called REACH principles, REACH, which I won't get into, but if somebody was really interested, they could look up online or just Google it. So it's a carbon neutral factory. The boots don't contain any formaldehyde or lead, or PVCs, and it's a ISO 1400 run factory. So again, no petrochemicals are being used in the production of these boots. And for some people are more concerned about that than others. I've had a lot of moms call up looking for boots for their kids, particularly if they're hypersensitive to the quality of the boot and its construction and the environmental conditions that they're constructed in. But it's a really well-made boot, and it's a boot that is, I would say, consistent with the origins of the brand, which are in the UK and actually out on a farm in the UK. That's how they were first designed, was for all-day wear out on a farm, and where they're actively using them for hunting every day or wearing them out in the field.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap up this episode. But one more time, somebody wants to order a pair of Gumleaf boots. How do they do that?
Yep, just www.gumleafusa.com and call with any questions at 844-486-5323. And as Bruce said, once you have your boots, we definitely welcome photographs. We post a lot of the photographs from, people out in the field with our boots. I'll be providing Bruce with a number of them, guys right up almost to the top of their boots in briars and in mud and on swamps and out in the woods and things like that. So we definitely welcome photographs for our Facebook page and Instagram and for use on our website. So
yeah, and when you're on Instagram, just do an Instagram live, Facebook live, and say, hey, I'm out X, Y, and Z, with my Gumleaf boots, and, here's why I'm happy about them. And we really appreciate that. So again, use promo code WR2019 to get free shipping any place in the United States. And with that, we're going to wrap this up. Special Gear Wednesday edition of Whitetail Rendezvous podcast featuring Gumleaf USA and Mr. Jack Butler.
Thanks, Bruce.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show tonight. Before we go, can I take a moment and say thank you? Listen, as we started the Whitetail Rendezvous podcast journey, we had no idea what to expect. But after 4 years, we received a ton of feedback from our over 400,000 listeners and climbing to 500,000. Speaking of which, we are now closing in on over 600 featured guests. Thank you. And a quick shout out to all those who have left an iTunes review and your feedback. I get those and really appreciate it. And it's awesome to see what you have to say, and we do read every single one of them. And I just want you to know that I am incredibly grateful for your kind words regarding the show. And all of the ratings and reviews help us attract more listeners. And if you're one of those new listeners, welcome. Great to have you. By the way, if you haven't taken the time to rate and review our show and like the Hunting on Private Land strategy on how to get permission to hunt a private property, go to whitetailrendezvous.com as a special gift for just rating and reviewing our show. When you get there, look for the start button to get the details. Listen, I'll share you the top technique from some of the top hunters in the country on how do they get permission to hunt on private land. I'll share with you the exact techniques they use to get permission. As my way of saying thanks for rating and reviewing the show on iTunes. So join us next time. And remember, we're all on this journey together, learning, sharing, and becoming 365 hunters. This is Bruce Hutchin, your host of Whitetail Rendezvous, and I'm with Mr. Jack Butler from Gumleaf USA. Jack and I just did a promo podcast on the introduction to North America of Gumleaf USA. And one thing we wanted to do is clarify the shipping. Now, Jack is going to offer free shipping for the next 60 days from the publication date, which effectively I'm looking at having this produced by June 26th. So that would be July 26th, August 26th. And 60 days from the date of publication, you will be getting free shipping any place in North America. Is that correct, Jack?
Yeah, I think that works out well. And, we found in recent years now, it's usually, the front end of the market who begins preparing for hunting season in the month of August anyway. Although, as we mentioned during the podcast earlier, that, for your 365-day hunters, there's probably a fairly consistent need for boots like this throughout the year. But the 60 days, I think, makes sense for us and hopefully works for you as well and for your listeners.
So listeners, 60 days from date of publication, you will get free shipping any place in the United States, including Alaska. So with that, we're going to close the segment with Jack Butler from Gumleaf USA. Oh, by the way, Jack, how do people get a hold of you to order the boots?
Best way is just to order online, gumleafusa.com. And again, if they have any questions, they can call 844-486-5323. That's 844-GUMLEAF. Or they can email me at info@gumleafusa.com.
Thank you again, and use promo code WR2019 to get your free shipping for 60 days from published date of Gumleaf USA.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.